Welcome to MarkWHO77. That's right, MarkWHO77, the show for British comic creators that work with 77 Publishing and beyond. My name is Mark Baumgarten. With me today, of course, is Ben Cullis, the editor-in-chief of 77 Publishing. Hi, Ben.
Hey, Mark, how are you?
I'm doing great. We haven't done a show for a while, and I'm glad we're back.
Was the
MarkWHO77.
last one with Pat Mills?
Last one was with Pat Mills, so that was how many months ago? That was
A few months
a few months.
before New Year, and Shah is imminent. The book is about to ship, so
I
very
was
excited.
actually going to ask you that. Good, we got that out of the way. We have a show today. We're going to be talking about Lawless, which is the Comic Con that is held in Bristol this May that 77 Publishing has something to do with. And we're going to talk to the showrunner, Sue Haddrell. We're also going to have Vicky Jakubowski, our regular co-host. She will be on during the interview segment. But I wanted to ask a few questions to Ben because as we are putting this out, so this is out the first week, right before the first week of May. So we just passed Friday, which was the beginning of the Kickstarter campaign for the 77 issue 11. Ben, what is that all about?
Well, it's all about the good folk who have been along for the ride, backing us, supporting us, making sure that the comic, which has been dubbed the future of British comics, has a future.
Yeah.
And issue 11 successfully launches via the funding platform that is Kickstarter. And I think it's our 33rd Kickstarter with all the titles we've done. And as you
Wow, that's
said, it's
quite
the
a
11th,
lot. Yeah.
iteration of the 77 comic. And of course, we've done annuals as well, and we've done other sort of 77 based books as well. So, yeah, it's really, really good to be back with you as well, and have a chance to discuss it.
All right. Question: how long is the campaign for? When does it end?
Okay, that's a great question. So the campaign ends, I believe, at the very beginning of June. So it coincides with the week that we'll be at Lawless, which you've mentioned already. We'll be chatting to hundreds of folk about that. If people are new to it, we'll be signing them up and giving them previews. They can see the products that we've obviously released before the books. And yeah, it's going to take us through to June. And obviously, we've got a whole schedule of other books lined up for the rest of the year.
Can you tell some of the perks that are involved now that
When you say
that's running?
perks, I suppose, yeah, I think Kickstarter land, they call them rewards.
Rewards.
The main one is the comic itself. We've got two covers.
Of
You're going to
course.
show the cover by Mike Walters, work in progress, still sort of fine tuning to do on that. And that's a beautiful cover. It's highlighting his new strip. So Mike works with 2000 AD. He's done Highborn Low. He's done Department K, a lot of
We've
Judge
had him
Dredd,
on the
and Road
show.
Trooper. And
We've
Road
actually
Trooper.
had him on the show, haven't we?
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely exciting new talent. And he did a tryout. I can say, I hope he won't mind. He did a tryout. He's done a couple of tryouts for ASM.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
I would love to see those.
Oh,
Um,
I can give you a sneak, but not on the show. I can.
Not on the show. Okay, so it's
Yeah.
not a
So
market.
Mike's got a new strip. It's called Auto Gear.
Ooh.
That's going to roll out over the foreseeable future. He gets the standard cover, and fan favorite Ian Stopforth is doing a super wraparound cover for the variant. Him and Steve Bull. I'm not going to say necessarily what the theme is because it is going to be a dropped sort of surprise, but it's going to be an outstanding cover. If anyone knows Ian's work, and you need to find out about his work. It's beautifully painted and it's just fantastic. So the artwork is available for a page of Mike's work. We've got Andy Sawyers as is completing with Dave Healy on the Silver Jubilee. He's got some artwork available, the original artwork, and he's doing a couple of detailed sketches, which were always very popular. So people need to kind of check out these to see what's around still. Other perks include we've got signed scripts, which always go down very well, and that's for Silver Jubilee as well. And Andy Sawyers has told me he'll do some quick sketching in those. Dave and him will sign it, dedicate them. We've also got collections of the new bundles of the retail book, 77 numbers 1 to 4, which are available through Diamond. They're selling in the States. Whichever company is shipping them around the States. I'm not
Yeah.
certain, via Diamond UK. Okay,
Okay.
so thanks to Carl at Diamond for basically keeping the flag flying for the British comics scene over here. And that's doing really well. We're releasing those every couple of months now. It's re-edited versions of the books which started us off. And you know, Mark,
Yeah.
5 years ago, almost to the day that the very first issue of 77 came out,
Wow.
in the
Five
smack in the
years.
middle of the first COVID lockdown.
All right. You brought up British comic books. Let's talk a little about Comic Book UK, the campaign against AI. What exactly is this? What are we talking about?
It's not just about it's not just anti AI. I mean, that's one of the featured kind of you know, issues it's dealing with, but it's more about promoting the British comic industry.
Okay.
And it's fronted by a gentleman I've got to know quite well. I've seen him at various trade shows and conventions last year. His name is Mark Fuller. He's a very experienced marketeer and promoter for industries, but his passion, if you like, is comics. And in essence, what's actually trying to be the main key focus here is to promote the industry, which does not receive any tax relief at all in investment. Very similar along the lines of the British film industry. And you know, the British film industry is where most of the films that you get to see these days,
Yeah.
most of it is filmed in the United Kingdom. And why is that? Because investors get a good return. And we're saying, look, the British comic industry, it's so well known for breaking new artists and new writers who move on and do other things, but maybe we could keep hold of them a little bit longer. Maybe we could promote those new creators, those new titles in this country. And one of the ways would be to do that would be to get more investment, make the investment efficient for investors to kind of dabble with. And it could really do amazing things. There are hundreds of people involved, if not thousands. And so the British Comic Book UK is a new trade association. In effect, that's what it is. And we're meeting the Culture Secretary. That's an MP given
Oh,
that Secretary of State
okay.
position, British government, and we're meeting. It probably will have been done by the time this comes out. So on Wednesday, the 30th of April, Steve Bull and I are meeting with 20 or 30 other delegates, and we're going to be at the Houses of Parliament on the River Thames, talking to MPs and other invited guests, and the Culture Secretary himself, Chris Bryant, and Mark Fuller will be there. And so I'll be probably looking a bit smarter than I do at the moment, and handing out stuff that we promoted through this site and elsewhere. So really looking forward to that, and it's going to be a busy year trying to, as I say, wave the flag for British comics and the creators.
All right. Um, cool. I think we've done what I wanted to talk about in the introduction. So let's move
Cool.
on to the meat of the show. We're talking Lawless. Can you introduce our guest? And Vicky will be here
Okay.
too, by the way.
Gives me immense pleasure. A good friend of mine and the powerhouse that is Sue Haddrell.
We had her on. We had her on episode 11, and she was such a great guest. And we're talking all about Lawless and a few other things that would be of interest to all of you out there. So, what we're going to do now, we are going to introduce our guest. So, here she is, Sue Haddrell. Hello, Sue. How are you doing today?
I'm really well. Thank you very much for having me today. It's good to see you guys.
It's good to see you. We had you here a year ago, and now
We
you're back
did, yes.
talking Lawless 2025.
We're doing
Um,
it all again.
Yeah, all again. So we asked you the hardest question last time. We asked everybody who is, and we say who is Sue Haddrell. But can you tell us a little about yourself for people who may not have seen episode 11?
Yeah, so my name's Sue Haddrell. I'm the organizer of Lawless Comic Con, which is a sort of British comics themed convention based in Bristol in the UK. We have around about 300 to 400 attendees each year. We're quite 2000 AD and Judge Dredd orientated, but we've been going for this is our 11th year running this year. We're gearing up for the next year's show towards the end of May.
All right. And the dates of the convention I can see behind you are,
24th and 25th of May this year, so last
wow.
bank holiday in May.
All right, where's my free ticket over there so I can join you? I
Kick
know
your
it doesn't
ass.
happen, but I know Vicky. Oh, she's gone for a sec. Vicky went last year. I think she had a great time. We'll actually talk to Vicky a little about that in just a few minutes. But I always do this on my other show, Mark Who 42, and I think we did it last time as well. But can you tell us a little about your geek creds? What kind of stuff are you into?
Loads of different bits and pieces. I have way too many hobbies to at the moment, but comic wise, I'm a big Tank Girl fan. I've always been a very, very
Yay!
big Tank Girl fan. I actually didn't really get into 2000 AD in Dread until I started organising the convention because I knew a whole bunch of guys who sort of dressed as judges, so they came along and asked me to put something together. But so I'm currently, what am I reading at the moment? Geek wise or comic wise. So I'm reading Lenore. Roman Durge's Lenore has just been released. The Time War. So he's just I'm just reading that at the moment, and I've just started reading Chopper because I've never read Chopper before, and I'm a little bit into surfing, so that kind of appealed to me. So I've started doing that. Outside comics, I do a lot of writing. I'm really into my movies, so TV shows and all that kind of stuff. Usual kind of bits and pieces, geek creds and stuff like that. I'm currently having a rewatch of The Expanse, which is one of my favorite sci-fi.
I have not gotten into that. My sister tells me it's really good. I
So
got to
good.
see it.
It's
What kind of
so good.
writing do you do? What kind of stuff do you write?
Uh, Science fiction, horror, fantasy. A little bit more horror, to be fair, at the moment. Horror, I find horror quite easy to tap into. So I tend to write short fiction, sort of for anthologies and bits and pieces. So yeah, I've had a few bits and pieces published. You can find me on Amazon.
I'm actually going to let Ben ask the next question. Ben?
Oh, that's not fair. I mean,
Ah,
anyway, nice to see you again. How are
It's
you
really good to
doing,
see you,
sir?
and
Yeah, great. So, hey, I'm not going to ask you a question. Well, apart from what do you think about? Have you seen the list of the guests who are doing the program that we're providing for you this year?
I have not seen anything. He's been keeping his cards
Ah,
close to his chest this
can I
year.
dangle a few names of
No,
interest? I
no, no,
think
no, no, no.
Steve
Go
won't
on
mind
ahead.
at all. Okay, so the 77 artists, we've got Andy Richmond, Andrew Sawyers, and Ian Stopforth, which is great because we love them, and they
Yeah.
and Andy and Andrew are going to be guests with Mike Walters, who's also included, but he's separate now because he's a kind of 2000 AD droid, and he's going to be featuring in a
He's a
little
busy
bit
man.
about 77 later. Colin McNeil is doing the cover.
Oh my God,
Patrick
amazing.
Goddard's going to be in there. As I said, Mike Walters, Boo Cook, Hunt Emerson, Clint Langley as well. Okay,
I'm
so
interested to see Hunt's
quite a
take on
bunch
it.
of people
It'd
you've
be
been
cool to see
missing.
Hunt's take on it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, and yeah, Hunt Emerson. Wow.
Yeah,
So
I know.
my question is, how did it take so long for you to get Hunt Emerson to?
He approached us. He approached us last year, but it was very last minute last year. He sort of emailed out the blue, going, "I'm thinking about getting back onto the convention circuit again. I've heard good things about you. Can I come and join you?" And it was really last minute, like it was about 2 weeks before the show or something
He's
like
one of
that.
my
And I was like,
favorite comedic
um, yeah.
cartoonists. He's
So
just
I
brilliant.
reached out first thing this year. I reached out. He was one of my first guests on the list. I reached out to him, sort of said, "We've got space. Do you want to come along to the show this year? We'll get you sorted." I
Fantastic.
actually know him from 40 and Times because I'm a 40 and Times reader. So I just know him from his comic at the back of that, so that he does every month. So yeah, good to have him reach out and just sort of say, "Can I come to your show?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you can." That was really cool.
speaking of guests, who are some of the big names that are coming?
So we got Mr. Bolland this year, who's turned into one of our regulars. It's always really good to have Brian along, and it's a great opportunity for people to meet him. To be fair, because I don't think he does very many shows, so it's always good to see him. Simon Bisley's coming this year. It's been a few years since he's been to the show, but conflicting schedules and things like that. So I think he's actually in the UK. So yeah, we're gonna go and grab him and get him along. Who else have we got this year? Uh, just trying to think. Alan Davis is another one I think that
Yeah.
everyone's quite a big fan of. So I've been chatting to him, so he's coming. I think he's actually staying the Sunday night as well. So he's gonna be hanging around for quite a while if anybody wants to have a chat with him and stuff like that. But yeah, certainly he's one of our other big names. We've got trying to think who else we've got. It's quite
We got Glenn
I
really
know you
Favory,
have
John
John
Wagner,
Wagner.
and
John
all the
Wagner's
all
going
the
to see
usual
the
big
big
ones.
band
Yeah,
as the usual.
I see them every year, so I forget that people haven't
Yeah,
met them
they're just
before.
regulars.
So I'm like,
They're
come back
not
to the
guests.
show. So no, all the usual. Yeah, John Wagner's coming, which is always good. John Higgins and Glenn Favour are always good to have along as well. Dan Cornwell as well. Have you seen his front covers? His current 2000 AD front cover that Dan Cornwell's
Astonishing,
done.
just
It's
absolutely
Yeah.
astounding.
astonishing.
It's so good. So I'm really looking forward to getting a hardback of that at the show and see if we can get some prints of it or something like that to give away on the tombola. Robbie Morrison, really pleased to have him along, and Neil Roberts as well. We got some new names as well. Ali Fell, I'm really looking forward to meeting. I really like his artwork. And Tien Trevelyan is also coming to the show as well.
Okay.
So yeah, some new names, some soul names, some repeating names, some people coming back who haven't been along for for a couple of years. So yeah, it's going to be a good mix, I think, this year.
Excellent. Oh, I wish Vicky was on camera. She had to step out for a second.
Oh,
Okay, so we're talking about the guests. What are the
I never.
origin? Oh, there she is,
Hello.
Vicky.
She
Woo!
made it.
Hello,
Yay.
it's just
Yeah.
a nightmare I had to deal with because
Okay.
the world
You know
just
what?
does not stop.
I'm actually going to let her ask the next question. Vicky, you're on the spot. Go for
Oh,
it. Go for it. We've asked a lot, but let's see if you go for something we haven't talked
yes,
about.
you
Okay.
have. I actually was listening. I was totally ignoring the person I was on the phone with. And
That's me at work on a daily basis.
so sadly, of course, I can't come this year, and I'm very
Oh,
Yeah.
deeply sad about that. Because
gutted to miss you.
well, my husband has to have back surgery, and then it got postponed, and he's like, "Oh, now we can go." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to plan a trip to England in 4 weeks." I don't think I'm that good.
Back surgery seems to be very prevalent
There's a
for
thing
people
going
here.
on right
Yeah,
now.
hi, me too. Uh,
Oh,
But well, I want to make a statement before I ask a question, and that's just
okay.
it was. I've been to a lot of different conventions, and I think I had more fun with you guys than I have had anywhere. Star Trek, Doctor Who, general sci-fi, doesn't matter. I had so much fun with you guys.
Awesome.
It was, and I can't believe the names that you guys get.
Yeah.
And it just you get to meet your heroes, and they're so polite
Yeah.
and nice. And I know I'm sounding like really shocked here, but I'm living in America. What can I say?
Because it's so face
Um,
to face. It's because it's so small and face to face, isn't it? So you're just right up there
oh my
meeting it like
gosh.
sat at a table with them having a beer, and it makes such a difference.
Yes. I just it, my question to you is how do you get real names up and coming, been around for a while? It just they come and they're willing to do this very intimate convention where you hang out, you have a beer. And I just it's not a normal thing, at least not here in the States.
It's a combination of a lot of factors. I mean, we've been going a while now, so a lot of it is word of mouth. So artists talk and creators talk amongst themselves. So we get quite a lot of recommendations, which is really, really nice. So people are talking to each other at other conventions and sort of saying, you need to go to this one. Well, I get a lot of we crowdsource a lot of our. I mean, I'm not an encyclopedia of comics by any means. I don't know a lot of the names that crop up on my list by any stretch. So I'm an event organizer first rather than a comics nerd. I'm quite upfront about that. So we crowdsource of a lot of our names. I will literally put a big post up and sort of saying, who do you guys want to see this year? Who's on your list? Who's up and coming? Who you've been watching? And then I'll do a little bit of research and have a chat with the gang off the back of that, and sort of saying, okay, what's he worked on, what she worked on, why are they popular, that kind of stuff. And then I try and mix and match it. So we'll try and get some old familiar names in that we've had previous years. We'll try and get some new names in that are old faces, I suppose. But also the young, like you say, the new blood, the new 2000 AD kind of writers and creators that are getting their name out there. It's always really good to get them up on board as well because it's the next generation. So we're very, very much promoting the next generation of creators that we can get. So, and I think the yeah, that whole kind of community word of mouth is a big part of why it's such an intimate show and why we managed to get the big names along. So a couple of the old school ones are very shy initially and kind of reticent to kind of put the names down and what you're going to give me for my time for you kind of thing. And then they come to the show and they're like, oh, I'm coming every year now. That's the greatest thing ever. So
Um,
it's really cool.
okay. We talked a little about the guests, but what can the attendees expect to do at this convention? What kind of stuff is going to be going on there?
Yeah, so we have a big signing room that gets quite nice and crowded. So all our creators have their own table, their own backdrop set up and everything, so they can do sketches and signings as much as they want throughout the day. We have a separate room that we do with a stage setup, so we can do some panels and interviews. So we will talk about comics. We'll get some creators together with a moderator and discuss different bits and pieces for about different types of comics and things like that for every hour or so. This year, so previous years, we've done an art exhibition, and we've not managed to secure one this year. So we're using the space instead, and we're having a second panel room. And this is going to be just for kind of one-to-one interviews. So it'll be a small kind of intimate, just an interviewer and the creator, and fielding it out to the audience, and a little bit more time spent with a single creator rather than just a quick 5 seconds at the desk getting something signed kind of chat, which is quite nice.
Okay.
We got plenty of traders this year. So we got whole traders room and stuff like that, doing small press and their own art and a little bit of merchandise and bits and pieces. So as well. So, and we're experimenting a little bit more this year. We're going to put a couple of our artists out into the traders room as well, just to create a little bit more footfall. So keep your eyes peeled and keep wandering, because there's going to be people in places that you probably didn't expect them to see.
Okay.
I was not planning to buy any artwork, which I have a tendency to do at every convention I go. I have this problem, and I still walked away with 4 pieces.
Yep.
And I'm just like, I have
Can
a
I,
serious
can I talk
problem.
about art behind you? I love
Yes.
that Mike. I love that Mike Perkins. You've got
It's
a Mike
amazing, isn't
Perkins
it? I was
there,
just
haven't
looking
you?
at that.
Yeah.
This
Yes,
year we're actually
this is
doing
kind of becoming my corner of everything the 77. Everyone I've met from the 77 that I get artwork from.
awesome.
So,
This year we're
and of
actually doing
course, I got this guy. This is my pride
that's
and
cool.
joy.
Oh, wow. That is nice.
This is the what would you call it? The Lawless Award.
Lawless. That is
It
Lawless.
is
That is the
Lawless.
name of the
That
That is
is
the
character.
comic
Lawless.
character. Yeah, that is the comic character
And
Lawless.
they raffled off 2 versions, one that was all gold and one that was colored. And my table mate actually got both for a decent amount of money, and then turned around and said, "Which one do I want?"
Can we
So I
name him?
probably
That
had
was
my
Ian
husband run
Senior.
up to the
That was
hotel
Ian
room so
Senior
I didn't
that did
break
that.
it.
Yeah.
That was hand painted by my other half's fair
Yes,
hand as well.
Oh,
which my husband then had him sign it later on.
Oh, amazing.
I told you, my pride and joy. It actually sits above our TV in a little stand close to the
Amazing.
top.
That's awesome.
Great conversation piece. It's like you
Yeah,
have
but
to go to England. You have to go to this convention. It is nothing like anything you've ever experienced. I mean, we have a tiny anime con here in Reno every year, and it's been going on for about a decade now, maybe longer. And it's the only thing that I've ever seen that is as small as you guys, but they don't get as many good names. I mean, we get some great people, but it's more of a cosplay meet and greet.
Yeah.
And it's great and it's so much fun, but you just don't get the level of care and conversation. And I shared a table with some amazing artists.
Yeah.
Thanks to the 77 again.
Oh, 77. Love the 77.
speaking of 77, Ben, how and why is 77 Publishing involved with Lawless?
Well, we met in person. All of the people behind the 77 met in person at Sue's convention back, I think, in 2017, 2018. I can't remember whichever the fourth iteration was, Sue. Okay.
Yeah, it had to be 17, I think. So we didn't run 16.
Yeah. So we met there. We'd already been online anyway. We'd set up the 2000 AD fan page, 1977 to 2000 AD, which is pretty much the biggest one on Facebook. As you know,
I didn't know you guys set that up. I didn't know that was you guys.
Sorry?
I didn't know that was you guys.
Yeah, me personally set that up in 2007 as a little geek,
Nice.
And a bit like you, Sue. I mean, I wasn't at that time kind of like massively backing comics, it phased in and out. But I started this little thing and it grew, and people asked us about, what we were interested in doing, and lots of chat about starting a comic. And this is a well trodden kind of introduction here, but it kind of all came to the fact that we were going to be producing a comic, the 77, to launch at Lawless, and then this particular nasty virus went round, and it ended up being. Was that the year, Sue, that we actually did the virtual con, or
Yeah.
was that the year after you actually did the virtual con?
So the 2020 was the virtual con.
Yeah.
And then we didn't do it. I'm trying to think now. 21, I don't think we did anything at all.
Right.
Yeah.
But
No, it might be
from
it might have been
that,
the other way around. It might have been
yeah,
that it was completely cancelled in
sure.
2020, and then in 21 we did a
Very
virtual.
late. It was very late, Sue, because I think we were all nailed into our houses around about middle of March,
Yeah.
weren't we? And so the notice went out, of course, that it wasn't going to go ahead, and we had
Yeah.
this whole comic thing. What are we going to do? And it kind of played to our strengths, really, in that because we were doing the social media, and because there was a lot of interest and a lot of backers through the crowdfunding Kickstarter that we did. So and now we kind of like just help out a bit with helping with some guests and doing a little bit of the organization, because Sue always needs lots of people. Did you stuff some bags last year, Vicky? I think you were involved in bits and pieces. She's gone mute now.
Oh, she's gone mute.
She's very quiet. She's being very quiet there. She doesn't want to answer. She doesn't want to really answer.
The mics a couple times,
I know your hourly rate was great. An awful lot.
I know, because I kept paying cash to these artists. I don't think I can.
But I mean, Sue has got together just an amazing bunch of friends and colleagues. Got a shout out to John Bav. I'm going to see Bav.
Yay! I'm so looking forward to seeing Bav. It's
absolutely.
been ages.
So going to hope. Yeah, absolutely. And all the guys and girls who just do this incredible thing, where without them, Sue, you'd be first to admit, wouldn't you? It's
it wouldn't happen. Yeah, it wouldn't have. It takes a lot of people to make it happen.
Yeah.
And
but the truth is, Sue's so nice. When she asks, you just got to do it.
No, I just go out and go help.
So Steve Bull is working with the artists and getting the program together, which
I can't believe Climate Deal was doing our
we have a continuing story strip, which somehow you appear in it as well, Sue.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Could we put in the book Vicky and myself, since we are kind of part of the family?
Well, there is conversation to be had, and there's also some how can I put this, quid pro quo advertising space available. So we could consider something, but that's just something that Steve's working on in the background.
I was going to say, Steve does all of that, so I leave him to it these days. To be fair, so I haven't got a clue what's happening until I see it.
But I think the biggest change has been, Sue, isn't it, in the event itself, is that you've really invested in the show by going to 2 days.
Yes, yeah, definitely. It made sense to roll it over for the second day because most people were staying the Saturday night anyway. So essentially, we paid for the venue for the second day and just rolled it all over for 2 days.
Well, then obviously asked, when are we going to turn into a 3-day event, Sue?
Yeah, it's not happening. And
Monday.
the artists themselves, in fairness, most of them were staying overnight on the Saturday night, so it made sense for them to hang out on the Sunday. So it's a slightly shorter day on Sunday, just because it gives everyone a chance to get home and stuff. But no, we do the same thing. Everyone's signings, everyone's doing panels, and we get all the traders back again.
The vibe is it's nuanced, isn't it? In that Saturday's like really at it and really busy and really energetic, and Sunday's kind of like a bit more intimate. People are a bit more
Sunday is the hangover day.
So we're slightly more calm.
Yeah, most of them have been up quite a lot throughout the night. Yeah. Thankfully,
I remember a conversation of trying to figure out who hadn't been to bed yet the next morning.
Okay, I have a question for you. The Nobel Bolt 01 Award. What exactly is that? What do we need to know about that? Who is the recipient?
Yeah, let's bring up the details. So the Noble Bolt Award was really just created to honor the memories of Colin Noble and Dave Evans, and more recently Richard Clements, actually, who are three gentlemen who were very involved with the comic scene, British comic scene in general, not in terms of creativity and writing and stuff, but in producing comics or supporting comics and things like that, essentially. Dave Evans did produce and edit at Zarjazz, and
Yeah.
he used to do our program for us
I
initially,
actually
when we first started out.
I actually have a copy, I think, of the Bolt 01 comic, the little comic they put together for that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was really cool.
So one
Um,
of the things that came out of it was that Colin Noble had always wanted to come to the show and never been able to make it for whatever reason. And so I wanted to do something that sort of honored their memories essentially. And what we do is we did the Noble Award. So you can nominate one specific person to come to the show who's always wanted to, well, for whatever reason, it doesn't it doesn't matter what reason you give, but they've always wanted to come to the show. They've never been able to make it for whatever reason, and you want to give them a good time. You want to give them a good weekend away with their friends. So
and I'm the
we get
recipient. I'm coming. Is that what's happening?
yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
that, yeah. They're
I
flying me
will
out. Yeah, it's gonna be a great.
I will pick someone and we'll pay for their ticket and we'll pay for the hotel for the night and their transport to get them to the show. Like whatever it takes, basically, we'll get them to the show to come and say hello to everybody. We've been doing it about 4 years now, and it's a really nice thing to be able to do, basically, because a lot of people are members of the community and just don't get a chance to say hi to people face to face. So it's really nice to be able to just get them, get it all sorted and arranged for them, and all they need to do is just rock up and see all their friends and everything. So yeah, really, really pleased that it's something that we're able to sort of feedback and offer to. This year, the recipient is Charles, I've got to pronounce his name terribly now, Sikaz, I think, or Zikaz, I think his surname is
Okay.
Charles Zikaz, who was a recipient of the show, and he was nominated by two or three people. And yeah, he's never been to the show before, but always wants to make it. So he's got some family commitments and bits and pieces that's always kind of prevented him. So yeah, we're gonna get him there this year.
All right.
Give him a good evening, good weekend.
Okay. Where and when is Lawless 2025? Let's get this out. Let's say it right now.
So Lawless is held at the Doubletree by Hilton at in Bristol, and it's a big hotel where we rent out loads of conference rooms. It's on the 24th and the 25th of May, which is the last weekend, bank holiday weekend in May. Tickets are now on sale. They are not available on the door, so we only sell out in advance. We don't sell on the door. You can get them at lawlesscomiccon.co.uk. Go onto the website, click on the link on the website, and it will take you straight over to the ticket page. Weekend tickets are available, day tickets are available. So if you can only make it for the Saturday or the Sunday, come and join us. But yeah, tickets were all ready to go. So we got a month to go before the show.
Yeah, I was online. It says the weekend pass is £70 and the one-day
Yeah,
ticket is 35. So
you
basically
get it.
half. That
Good.
was good.
Yeah.
One day. It's good. Vicky, any more questions?
You guys all recognize a charity every year. And who's the charity you're recognizing this year?
So this year we're raising funds for the Trussell Trust, which is a food bank charity. It provides it. They're looking to end food poverty, essentially. We've previously, historically, we do a lot of mental health type charities, but poverty and food poverty is quite, and cost of living at the moment is quite a big deal for everybody, and a lot of our guest, our audience in particular, have had issues with poverty and food poverty or growing up and things like that. So it's very much within our hearts of something that we know we can support, and we do a tombola every year, so all money raised from that tombola goes straight towards the charity,
Okay.
and we might be raffling off some art again as well this year, so all the funds from that as well will go to the charity too.
All right,
Yeah.
Vicky, I know you have a question.
Well, I just wanted to
Another one.
remind the boys doing the auction that they need someone to track who bought what, because we had a little scramble there at the last moment and I became the secretary. So,
Yeah.
and I
So
won't
we
be there this year to do it. So they need to find somebody.
Yeah, so we're not doing an art auction this year. We're doing by popular demand, we're managing to do something called the draw off again this year. Which
Ooh.
yeah, we get 5 or 6 artists up on stage with big flip charts, and our wonderful friend Bav will crowdsource some ideas from the audience, and they are very silly ideas. And the artists have to draw their interpretation of whatever the audience has suggested, and then we'll do a cheerometer to see which one they prefer out of the two, and we whittle it down to the final artist, who yeah wins the draw off for this year's show. But all the silly sketches that they produce, regardless of how rude or how inappropriate So generally how bonkers they are. They all get raffled off. So you can, throughout the whole of the draw off, you go and buy as many raffle tickets as you can, and we just call out the numbers. And if your number comes up, then you get yourself a very silly piece of art.
I need to rob a bank so I can
Need
get
to
there
rob a
anyway.
bank. Okay. I'm there. I'm there. I got the no, we're gonna go. I'm not gonna even go there. Uh
Sue, are you able to give a hint as to who maybe a couple of the participants in the draw off might be?
Uh, Bisley's definitely going to be one of them.
Wow.
Yay.
So you might get yourself some very silly Bisley art.
Yeah,
But
I would just imagine that a couple of them you would have to restrain to stop them from being involved, knowing a couple of the artists who were there who love that kind of
yeah,
having witnessed a couple before. So it's a great event, and yeah, I think really you're going to be using the space, as you said. The gallery's not available this year, which is such a shame because we've had the Steve Dillon, we've had Gray and Bleetham, we've had
yeah,
David Roach provide. We're in. I mean, I've been in talks with a really well-known gallery in Northampton, and I think we'll have news about that maybe next year.
excellent.
So I imagine that you're going to be thinking of creative ways to widen the scope of the area of the event, and getting people going from trader room to the main room to the
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so we do try and sort of signpost it as much as we possibly can, and obviously the program will state what things are on at what times and stuff like that. So the end room at the end of the is at the end of a corridor where we normally have the exhibit, and it's quite a nice room to use for exhibits because it's quite nice and peaceful and quiet. So you get a bit of time away to acknowledge all the artwork there. But I think also it's a good use of the space to do it for some quiet interviews with the creators as well. So it's a bit more of an intimate setting for some good Q&As, I reckon.
We're running out of time here on MarkWHO77. Ben, do you have any other questions you'd like to ask?
Yeah, I just wanted to, if it hadn't been mentioned earlier, and I'm sure with this information we'll have it available on the strapline of this. Sue, when can people buy tickets until? I understand they're only available online, and what's the last date that people can get them?
So let me just check the date. It's the Wednesday before the show itself. So Wednesday the
21st?
21st. Yeah,
Yeah, I
Wednesday
can do
the
math. I can
21st.
do math. The 21st.
Right.
And then
Vicky.
they'll go offline that morning, literally, so I can go to work and print off a massive spreadsheet of everybody's
Oh,
names.
that's cool. Very cool. All right, Vicky, last question.
Do you think that you'll be able to continue doing this convention? I know it is a very difficult thing to pull off, both money and time.
Well, we're definitely going to keep doing it as long as people keep coming. Yeah, it's cost of things are definitely creeping up, which is scary, but we're still doing all right. We can still afford to run it. It's still doing okay, so we'll keep running it as long as people keep coming to the show.
Sue, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. But before we
No.
go, we've got some housekeeping. First of all, if you are enjoying this show, please down below the like and subscribe to 77 Publishing's YouTube page. Ben, housekeeping, go for it.
Yeah, our online store is the 77comic.net. Find the group that we were talking about, the 77 to 2000 AD. That's what it's called on Facebook, or 77 Comic. You will find lots about us there. And yeah, the Kickstarter, we'll leave information in the credits as well.
All right. And of course, the 77 issue 11's Kickstarter. Don't forget to talk about that.
Oh yeah, ends, I believe, the end of the first week of June. So we will be speaking to the good people going to Lawless about this. If they don't know about it, get them to sign up, find out more. Amazing rewards, artwork, special things that Vicky was showing earlier, and yeah, it's great to have the issue number 11 coming out soon.
Wow. I'm going to do some housekeeping. MarkWHO42.com is our home base for MarkWHO42, the best science fiction podcast since 2012 out there. Also, our YouTube channel, which is MarkWHO42's Universe, you can find some of our old shows. We're actually on episode, I think it's 394 or 395 this just past weekend. We've been reviewing the new season of Doctor Who. Oh, I'm enjoying it immensely. If you want, on our YouTube page, we've got shows dating back to 2012. I know it's an audio show, but it's on the YouTube. So you just look at a blank screen with some writing on it while you're listening. But you can hear some of our best interviews of Doctor Who and other science fiction guests. We don't just do Doctor Who anymore. We are so whole of science fiction everywhere. Okay. I think that's the housekeeping. Sue, I want to thank you so much. This is Sue Haddrell of Lawless. My
Thank you
name
very
is
much.
Mark Baumgarten. Below me is Vicky Jakubowski, and to my side is Ben Cullis, the editor-in-chief of 77 Publishing. Any last words, anybody?
Come to Lawless.
Yes. Yes. All right. So until next time, and hopefully it won't be as long as it was between the last episode. Bye, everyone.
Bye.